Bring for the mole. Can't help but start remembering that song that they chanted in the trailers that announced the ogres. Because the ogres are coming to get ya! Come on, you guys. Don't you wish we could hear that playing as we're playing the ogres in the campaign? I know some probably would not really want that, but there are some of us that would love to have that, you know? And I'm not necessarily talking about specifically just the ogre song. I'm talking about some of the other really good trailer music, you know? Like, you remember the awesome trailer music for when they announced that Khorne was going to be a faction in this game? The Scarbrand trailer? That music? I want that playing when I go into a battle as Khorne, you know? That's the kind of music I want to hear as I'm going out slaughtering my enemies in the name of Khorne and collecting skulls for the Skull Throat, which we will talk about later in a couple of videos, because we do have a couple of new lords for the Khorne faction. So welcome to the Omens of Destruction DLC, the next one to follow Thrones of Decay. This DLC focuses on Khorne, the Greenskins, and as you can probably guess from the artwork on the menu here, of the mall, the Ogres. Which is good, because those are factions that did need a bit of a touch-up. Now, before we look at the campaign, also, by the way, from now on, this is going to be a little different, because they have effectively changed the direction on how they approach making these lords and characters based on how they see people playing with the game. So before we do that, since this is going to be a video focused on specific factions and lords, in this case, we're looking at the new Ogre Legendary Lord. We're also going to take a look at some of the new units as well. Now, it's been a while since I've done this, forgive me. I'm trying to remember. Here we go. Alright, so Ogres. And here he is. Golgfag Maneater. Now, I apologize. And I'll be honest, I'm not entirely okay or comfortable saying this character's name, because it does contain that word. That's probably the only time you're going to hear me say his first name. From here on out, I'm just going to simply call him Maneater. I have some friends who are homosexuals, and I would never, ever, ever say that word to them or about them at all. So, because, you know, I want to be nice and respectful to them, I want to make sure that I like, even saying it just that one time you heard me just now, just put a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, I'm not okay with the fact that this character has, you know, his name has that word, but I guess the defense is that this is a character as part of a franchise that's been around for decades, and I'm sure there's some copyright and such involved. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if some people ask, can we change this character's name? Like, I'm just saying. But, you know. Anyways. Maneater is the new Legendary Lord for the Ogres. We will, of course, take a look at him here. But what I'm also wanting to look at are some of the new characters here. I think this is one of the new ones here. No, I think that one's actually been around. Actually, no. I think the Butchers are new. Alright, let me see here. Here we go, the Pigback Riders. Those are new, I know that. Eshin Maneaters, those are new. And there are the Maneaters there too. Pretty sure those Maneaters have been around. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just like... I will admit there are times I get confused on whether or not some units have already been in the game as mod characters. And sometimes I just outright forget, like, oh wait, like, for example, like, I look at the Stonehorn, or even the Thunder Tusk, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't we have this? Like, I guess we had the Stonehorn, but we also, I think there's a mod where people tried to make a version of the Thunder Tusk and have it in the game, but that's no longer the case anymore, so, because we actually have it now, so. I don't think these are new either. They might be. I really don't remember. Oh, I have not played the Ogres in a long time, so cut me a little bit of slack here. So we're just taking a look at the new units, and then I'm going to hop into the campaign so we can take a look at them. I actually don't remember if everything new in terms of the features and the mechanics are available right away or not, but in case you're curious, no, I do not have any mods running other than one that skips the intro and splash screens when you boot up the game. That's literally the only mod I have enabled right now. Remember, when an update like this comes out, a lot of mods get outdated or make it where you can't really use them because they can have a number of problems and issues because it's a whole new code for the game. So, all right, let's line everybody up. Alright, hold on. No, you guys.
Golgfag!
There we go. Alright, everyone's lined up. Whoops. So first off, the Pigback Riders. I love that it's just Noblars piggyback riding off of other Noblars. That's way too funny. And they're actually, like, they're expendable, but they're also anti-large. Oh, gosh, that's funny. That is so funny. And then we have the Regiment of Renown version of these guys. Shielded and anti-large. Not expendable. They're actually pretty decent. Alright, over here we have the Eshin Maneater. So, what I love about this guy, this is hilarious. This is a Maneater who actually went and got training from the Eshin. Yes, the Eshin, the Skaven. And he got training from them on how to be like an Eshin assassin and such. So, like, he's sneaky for an ogre. While ogres are generally not the subtlest of creatures, this unit is surprisingly well versed in the art of stealth. He's got a couple of really funny animations. He has anti-infantry, and he also has stalk. I'm hoping he'll show one of my favorite ones here that I saw, which is that you see how he's like spinning around. He's gonna try and like do a show off where he spins the blade around, and then he'll actually hit himself in the head. Just bonk. It's actually really funny. I don't think he's gonna do it. Oh, wait, there it was, right there. He's like, oh, I hit myself in the head. Oh, right there, there it was. And here are the Man-Eaters. You can see they are monstrous infantry, damage dealers, anti-infantry, and they have Ogre Charge, which I have heard that Ogre Charge is actually better now. Basically, they've tried to make the Ogres just better, like, because they were not that great. Here's the Thunder Tusk, a missile monster, because he has two of these guys up here up top. But yeah, he can be both a missile unit and, of course, a melee unit, because, of course, you would see this guy with these tusks. He's basically like the elephants in Lord of the Rings. And then we have the Blood Vultures. And the man himself. The Man-Eater himself, with his eye patch. And his, you can see his pistol right there. He actually uses a pistol as one of his abilities. Deadeye. Strong against small entities, strong against lightly armored characters, requires line of sight. And he has a massive heal. Bugman's 6 X's. So yeah. He's really strong. And then we have Bragg the Gutsman.
You hungry?
He's hungry.
Soaked in entrails.
And we have a Butcher. And then we have Yetis. Which are not trolls. These guys are different from trolls. From what I've seen, they actually can be quite a bit effective, probably even more effective than trolls. They have armor-piercing melee and frostbite. You can see they already have both frostbite and magical attacks. And then we have the... If we just compare, you can see right there, they have more leadership, more melee attack, and more melee defense. And more health. And they cause terror. So yeah, those are the new units for the ogres. You guys know me, I always love looking at the new units to see what new things we can make, what kind of combinations. Just wait till we get to Khorne. So, what I was talking about earlier, we have new lords. Now, you see this little fire flame right here? New content available. You'll notice that is not over Realms of Chaos. If you go to Realms of Chaos, you'll notice Maneater is not available, the two new lords for Khorne are not available, and there's no green skin option. Basically, they have abandoned Realms of Chaos entirely, which means there's no new intros or cutscenes that I can show you guys when it comes to their campaign, because it apparently just is not here, unless they have decided to just simply move those to Immortal Empires, which if they have, I would appreciate that. I don't know. This is literally my first time looking at these characters in game, and I'm hoping that, you know, I liked all the cutscenes and such that would play when you pick these characters. There's a reason I showed them off for literally every character, like, on this menu here. I really enjoyed those intros. I thought it was really cool, adding more to, like, the story of what was going on and who you're playing as, right? Like the intro where we see the advisor go find Khorne, you know, and, like, ask him to, like, try and go get the skull of the bear. And Khorne and Scarbeard's like, one skull for the throne, the rest are mine to collect. You know, I thought it was really great. So, they tried to keep that going with some of the new characters. Like, obviously, we had that with Tomarkon here. But that's in Realms of Chaos. And we, of course, did not get Epidemius here. But if they still want to do these intro cutscenes, I'm fine with that. And if they're fine with also just doing Immortal Empires only, I'm also fine with that. I just want those intros here when we select them, because I think that would be great, you know? So, we're going to start off by looking at Maneater.
Greatest skull splitter around.
His latest bout of wanderlust has sent him to northern Ostland in search of frozen fortunes and exotic meals. You can see here on the map, he starts off up here in the highest northern point of the Empire, near Kislev and, of course, the Chaos Wastes. More tales are told about Maneater than any other ogre alive, and Maneater himself spins a great many of them. Yet there is much truth in the legend, for he has traveled the world far and wide with his cronies, imaginatively titled, the Maneaters, with whom he has gained widespread notoriety as a battle-hardened mercenary leader. In truth, his Maneater's adventures have won and lost him more fortunes than there are Noblars in the hills. His title, Maneater, coined when he once ate his human paymaster whole and set off with his pay chest, is a misleading moniker, for he is not picky at all about what he eats. Maneater's wanderlust may have prevented him from becoming a great leader up to now, but with enough loot and renown, he may yet have his day. So, his starting army, Maneaters, Bulls, Pigback Riders, Noblars, Lead Belchers, and a Scrap Launcher. He has access to mercenary contracts, allowing the Maneater's faction to be hired as mercenaries by other factions. Maneater can instantly travel to the client's settlement once per mercenary contract. He cannot make alliances with other factions. Melee attack, +5 when fighting against a contract enemy, all armies. Immune to psychology when fighting against a contract enemy. His Lord effects, income from post-battle loot is increased by 25%, minus 20% upkeep for Maneater units, and he has the ability Deadeye. I don't think any of the, lore, the lore of the Maw got changed. I don't think so. Where is it? There you are. Lord the Great Mole. The Mole. I still love that. That is so cool. It looks so cool, and as you can imagine, it does a lot of damage. Like, just at that point, that army is just dead right there. I'm just saying. Alright. From the icy sea of claws in the north to the soaring black mountains in the south, the individuality of the Empire's provinces is much defined by its landscape. That text has nothing to do with Maneater. Oh, and if there's really any of you that are getting irritated by the fact that I'm not saying his name, get over it. Besides, I think Maneater is a cooler name to say anyway. Like, sometimes you just refer to somebody by their last name just because it's like, it either sounds cooler or you use it as like a title, which I know Maneater the Maneater would sound a little strange, but I'm not using it in that way. I've heard the ogres are going to be much better and more fun to play than before. I really hope that's true. I really wanted to like the ogres as a faction. Like, I've had some fun with Goldtooth and Scrag, but at times, I was just like, okay, I'm not really enjoying this as much as I want to. Oh, here we go. We do have cutscenes still.
From the jungles of Lustria to the pirate-infested shanties of Fu Chao. There are few places in this world he hasn't crossed for fame and fortune. A mercenary without equal. A living legend. No job is too perilous, no deed too violent. Every contract has its price. But to feast on his enemies, that he does for free. Golgfag Maneater. His fame surpassed only by his appetite and thirst for ale and plunder.
Load up the meat! We've got a new job! New job, new start. Nice. So, who's doing the paying and who's doing the dying?
Maneater doesn't make alliances in the usual way. Instead, he works for other factions as a mercenary. You can view potential mercenary contracts in the panel found here. The Mercenary Contracts panel provides a list of potential client factions. Maneater can accept contracts to fight in their wars in return for culture-specific rewards. So, yeah, like I saw the showcase where they were talking about how you could have 2 contracts available between 2 warring factions. Like, both of them are offering for you to join their cause and help them. And you get to choose who you side with in a war, which is like, it's like, okay, I guess I am going to affect the outcome of a war because I chose to accept the contract, right? They're both offering me contracts, I guess I may as well take it, right? Each contract displays a list of its target factions, the required client satisfaction, which is that right there, for success. The contract duration and its rewards. Selecting a contract will display more detailed information. So you can see it'll give me 250, and it lasts for 6 turns. I have 6 turns to fulfill that contract, along with some other bonuses here. Notice there's a lot more meat as a reward here. Meat is now much more utilized, and it's much more available, and it's just a much bigger, more used thing now. This is the client faction that will hire you to take on their wars for the duration of the contract. Maneater is afforded 1 opportunity per contract to instantly travel to one of the client's settlements. This is done via the button, which becomes active above his character portrait once a character contract is accepted. These are the target factions that you'll be at war with for the duration of the contract. You won't be able to make peace with them, but any negative diplomatic relations you incur while the contract is active will be passed on to your client. This bar indicates the contract duration, specified by the displayed number of turns, and the minimum amount of client satisfaction that you need to earn in order to receive your contract rewards. A contract does not automatically end once the client satisfaction threshold is reached. However, at that point, you can end it manually and still earn the full rewards offered by the contract. Interesting. This list shows the types of actions that you can take against a target in order to earn the client's satisfaction. Occupy, kill in battle, raid. Okay, so you know what this is reminding me of? This is giving me the same kind of vibes as the Changeling and his campaign, because in the Changeling's campaign you got a number of different options of things that you could do to like mess with the person you were doing your game on, right? And you could do any number of those to fulfill like the big thing, that the big objective in order to trigger the big quest battle to have actually completed that game, right? That's what this is kind of reminding me of. Like, we're going to be kind of going around in similar fashion to the Changeling, just kind of doing these various different things to fulfill our goals. And we get to choose which ones, you know. But it looks like here it's saying you need to do all 6 of these in order to be able to get the satisfaction out. Now, maybe that's not entirely true. Maybe some of these offer more than others, but we'll find that out, I guess. If a contract ends with its required client satisfaction reached, then you will receive the list of rewards. You'll also earn bonus treasury for any client satisfaction that you may have earned over the target amount. Yeah, okay, so these will definitely be like this one can give you like 60, this one can give you 40, this one can give you 80. That's what I'm anticipating here. And then this button will allow you to accept a contract. It will also allow you to break or complete an active contract early. Okay. And just right away, it's like, hey, do you want this? It's like, you know what? Sure, let's go ahead and help out Osland. The Empire has traded steel and strong words with our enemy for long enough. We call upon your services to deliver them something that they will have no response to. Sigmar's hammer takes many forms. You are to be one of them. Expect ample recompense. So, occupied race settlements, faction leaders can battle. So, yeah. And as well as a fisherman hero. Let's accept the contract, boys.
Alright. What's the plan?
Satisfy your greed for gold, loot, and other rewards by accepting mercenary contracts requiring you to engage in hostilities on behalf of other factions. Use the meat harvested from your army's exploits to keep them fed and increase combat effectiveness in turn, or send surpluses to the Great Maw in return for powerful advantages. Build and expand ogre camps at the cost of your army's meat stockpiles in return for higher tier buildings and other advantages over permanent settlements. Complete challenges with eligible characters to grant them big names, which come with various bonuses and abilities. Complete bounties issued by other factions for military action against targeted characters, and settlements in return for rewards and improved diplomatic relations. So we accepted the contract. Complete a contract. Finish the job. And we get 5,000 treasury for that as well.
Gonna be overtime in one day.
Job simple. The Maneaters know the score. Make the lives of the client's enemies a living hell. Still not saying how much each one is worth in terms of what we get. You'll also see we have a new tech tree. We have one for the tribes, which looks like it's the camp tree, and then one, of course, for the armies here. So, like, we can start off with either getting more leadership and unit mass for Ogre Bull units, or more stuff for the Noblars. Either a +1 camp limit right off the bat, or more growth. Let's go with growth.
We's better.
So this is our first camp of the game.
Expensive.
Camps need meat for construction. The main way to get meat is fighting battles and sacking raising settlements. I do have a question, though. How do you build a camp, buildings of a camp, out of meat? Because that sounds disgusting. Like, isn't that meat eventually going to go bad and start to stink? You know what? Maybe I shouldn't think about it too much. Meat can be sent to a camp using the meat transfer panel. Meat can only be sent from forces to camps. Camps cannot send meat to other camps or forces. To move a camp, it can be packed up using this button. The camp can then be redeployed from a force after a cooldown period. Oh, thank goodness we can finally move our camps. I hated that once we placed a camp somewhere, it was basically stuck there. I hated that.
Tyrant of the tribe.
So here, of course, is the army panel for the camp. And we have that.
Something's leg.
Meat upkeep from units. Okay. So as we get to the higher rank, all meat upkeep from units is disabled. And greatly improves the availability of Ogre mercenary units. And immune to regionless attrition. Huh. So we have what looks like the Noblar tree over here. We have this tree for the ogres and the bulls. And then we have this for when we eventually want to get like the Stonehorn and the Thunder Tusk. Over here we have what looks like the Maneater tree. Should probably definitely want that. And then this is if we want more cavalry units like the Crushers. And then of course here is the support tree, which is the Camp Pot. A huge cauldron
Is upon me.
Gluttony, casualty replenishment, Trader's Hut, more army abilities, as well as leadership and melee attack. Very nice. And then we have the infrastructure buildings. Income from raising settlements, sacking, looting. Okay. We've got the feast table and the feasting stones. Meat generated. Meat gained from battles, and meat gained from battles for all armies, as well as characters in the circle of influence that you guys see around there. We have the spare tent. Reduces upkeep for all armies in the circle of influence, as well as recruitment capacity. And then, of course, the bounty shack, which just generates a lot more income. Okay. Now, when it comes to Maneater here, you'll notice this over here. Meat! Hoarding and consuming meat is not just a religious matter for ogres, for to eat a thing is to show your superiority over it, but also a means to expand tribal power. Meat is gathered from winning battles, sacking, raising, and raiding, as well as other sources. Each army's meat supply is consumed every turn as upkeep and can be used as offers to the maw, as well as crucial to camp construction. So, you'll notice there's a new gauge here. This is kind of similar to what's going on with Khorne. The meter, the battle meter that Khorne has, except this one is about meat. And how hungry or full your army is. You'll notice that we have the stat, that's the stash that you could get is famished. So, we start off with this right here, which is starving. There are few ordeals more frightening to an ogre than starvation and loss of weight. This warband is facing that fear right now. So we get more upkeep, less casualty replenishment, less leadership, and less unit mass. But the more meat we get to famished. More speed, unit mass, charge bonus, and an army ability called Dismember. We then get to Ravenous, which gives less upkeep, another army ability, more unit mass, more of that. And then we can get to Gluttonous, 260 plus meat. 10% less upkeep, 3 army abilities, more speed, more unit mass, and more charge bonus. Very interesting. So right off the bat, we have a Butcher. So we're going to go ahead now. Who has the Heavens lore. That's interesting. So I like how we're placed right between the two factions, depending on which one we choose to side with.
Got it.
All right. So here's the meat transfer button. The meat transfer panel allows you to spend meat from your armies to your camps. To send meat from your armies to your camps. The meat cannot be sent between armies or between camps, only from an army to a camp. Okay, gotcha. The left-hand side of the panel allows for the selection of which army to be the source of the transferred meat. The right-hand side of the panel allows for the selection of which camp to receive the meat. And this section allows you to adjust the amount of meat to be sent from the selected army to the selected camp. Transferring meat has a treasury cost based on the amount transferred. Gotcha. Okay. And then we have the offerings to the Great Mole. So, it used to be you would have 4 choices and you just select one of them. Now it looks like you can select all 4 if you want. Which can really rack up the meat, but sometimes getting those bonuses can be really, really nice. So we can either have more campaign movement range and enables the tunneling stance for our army. We can get the Feasting Frenzy ability and more melee attack. So it shows that the cooldown upon activation is just 1 turn. Okay. We have Bone to Pot. Winds of Magic Power Reserve +2 per turn, and Bone to the Pot passive. And then Ravenous Horde causes attrition to enemy armies in the local province and more income from raiding. Oh, man. We've made an offer to the Great Mole.
Want gold? Come with me.
You want gold? Come with me.
Wander a Golgfag.
Alright. Okay, so this siege unit has some pretty decent range. That's good to know.
Golgfag Maneater!
Big Mac Rider!
Expecting pirates! Maneater! Bring us meat! Mercenary Maneater! Let's show 'em what you do for a living! Killing!
Launch the scrap!
None shall live!
One of my favorite things to do in this game is to have, like, really nice artillery in my army, and then just watch my artillery just straight up shred enemy armies. It gets especially fun on certain factions that have very certain artillery units, like if I play the Vampire Coast, and we get Queen Bess. Oh, it's a beautiful sight. I mean, if they just want to chill and let my artillery just shred them for a bit and give me, like, an extra easy advantage here early on, I'm fine with that.
See, they don't put a bolt.
Yeah, these guys are getting a little shredded. Sir, shouldn't we move forward? You're right. I suppose we should. Move forward, men!
Ogre Maneater!
Oops. It's been a while. Nope, nope, nope. That's not it. That's not it. Nope, 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 nope. It's been a while since I played this game, so I'm actually trying to remember some of the controls here. Alright, let's see if these guys are downhill enough. Yeah, there you go. They can fire now. Alright, now these guys are going to be like, yeah, let's go!
Going over there!
Yeah, you guys can't charge into ogres like that. Are you serious?
Battle or hunger! Gnawing hunger. Slaughtering time. Glorious!
Come on, cavalry! Don't need a bite!
Golgfag's mercs!
Yes! This we can do! Stag, fight, stab!
Follow the Moor's call! Maneater! Golgfag Maneater! He's got powers!
Did I?
You die!
Oh, this poor general. Thinking that he can take this guy on. He's taking on an ogre. How do you think this is going to work out? What are you guys doing? Get in there!
Ogre Maneaters! Ogre!
Also, don't let these guys run. Slaughter them!
Come on, cavalry!
Lead for the ball! Golgfag Maneater! Leg belchers! The more calls!
That's right, go after the ranged.
Golgfag! Golgfag's wrath!
There we go. That certainly did a chunk of his health.
Golgfag Maneater!
So yeah, we did take some damage, but yeah. I imagine that, especially if they are buffed, because I don't even see like my army ability here right now.
Crush him! Don't stop until they're all dead!
I don't think there are any other mechanics in the show that they talked about in the showcase that I haven't already seen yet. I think we basically have gotten the gist of how this campaign works, where you're not really like coloring the map. That's not really like you can take settlements. You just don't necessarily need to. You can actually take a settlement and then give it to, say, the client that you have a contract with. So there's a number of different kind of choice that goes on here when it comes to how this campaign can work. So when we win a battle, we get ransom captives. Process meat. Looks like there's meat for the pot, boys. You know that they borrowed that from Lord of the Rings. You know they did. Or we can eat them and replenish. We can't be fighting on empty stomachs. Eat them now.
Bring me the meat!
We got some more meat, boys.
Golgfag
Alright.
Maneater!
So on his character screen, we have the two abilities. We have his passive wounds, which reduces base damage, armor-piercing weapon damage, and speed. That's if his hit points is less than 25%. Okay. He causes fear, of course he does. He's a wall breaker. Vanguard deployment. That's right. He has Vanguard deployment. He has Hide in the Forest, and he has Ogre Charge. He has Siege Attacker, and he has Resilience. Yep. His trait, yep. That's what I showed in the character screen here. So, quite a bit when it comes to the skill trees. Possibly been there, done that. He can replenish campaign movement range after winning a battle. Oh my gosh. That's the kind of thing that I think Scarbrand had? Where after he won a fight, he could keep on moving? Oh my gosh. Gain 3 random abilities via ancillaries at the start of each battle. These abilities will be lost after the battle. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is hilarious. Oh. For some reason, I thought the mentor thing was a mod thing. Maybe not. Snacks. He heals a bit of his health per second, constantly. And it's enabled when he's in melee. That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good. Big names. Barrel Crusher. Win a battle in a region with wine resource. Maneater. Weapon strength and strengthen flesh when fighting against humans. That's regeneration. Very nice. Tail Spinner. Win a battle with 4 regiments of renown in your army. And you get Witness Me! Damage resistance. And diplomatic relations with all units. End your turn in full speed stance on water. Campaign movement range. Increased plunder from encounters at sea faction-wide. Okay. Okay, so that is the enchanted item you get from a quest battle. The Bugman's 6X. Okay, so that's what that is. Which is casualty replenishment rate, figure loss reduction, the massive heal for combatants, and leadership. Okay. So,
Throw a feast in my honor.
when we then also go ahead and try to, you'll see that gives us 40 for the contract satisfaction. We'll just go ahead and auto-resolve that. So then we can either occupy, loot and occupy, sack, raise, or we can give to our client, which gives us plunder as well as satisfaction for the contract. There you go. You can have it. I don't need no stinking settlements. We got our camps.
Challenge me. Tyrant of the tribe.
There's a bit of a total creative assembly. I almost said total assembly. Creative assembly. There you go. There's a bug you gotta fix because that does not look good. Seeing that, you gotta go ahead and fix that. Let's see. I don't know how much of an issue plunder and loot and currency is actually going to be. I'm going to go ahead and get us a feast table going. Let's also go ahead and get the loot pile up and running. So it costs us 100 meat for every building we want to go ahead and get started on working. Okay. That's good to know. Okay, so I may have to end up being a little bit more careful when it comes to how I utilize my meat when it comes to buildings right now, just because right now I would not have that much. Like right now, we are in the famished category. That is good, but it looks like we can actually start losing quite a bit. So right now this army is 120, but now this camp has lost the massive amount of meat that we had because we're using it to improve our buildings here. But as long as this army is in this circle right here, we won't be losing meat. So let's see what happens. You'll also notice that it looks like I've already gotten 146 of the contract satisfaction. I also just realized the reason why I have the Ausland icon above both my camp and my army is because it's representing that that's who my current client is. Of course, because this is in Immortal Empires, it is going to take a little longer. Alright.
Oh my.
So they are going to be now generating a bit of meat to help out. That's good.
Mercenary Lord. Need to make more gold. Back to travel. Time for fresh killers.
I'm still in the circle of influence, so...
Won't stop.
Okay, so there is still an army upkeep.
Mercenary Maneater.
Oh, here's the travel to client button. Okay.
Need me more troops.
Need me more troops. Right now it's just 1 per. That's not great.
Want gold?
So that's probably why getting the upgrade over here to increase your recruitment capacity is probably very helpful.
It'll happen.
Meat generated, 5. Okay, that's good. So the guy who runs the camp can actually be like, I'm gonna help grow the camp.
This'll do the trick.
That's good to know. I'm already thinking about the amount of different kinds of mods that are going to come out. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a mod dedicated just to meat. A meat-only mod. Sometimes I mix up my ogre voice and my greenskin voice. I'm actually more used to doing my greenskin voice because they're the orcs. But the ogre voice, I got to work on that one. I got to really like listening to them and really try to listen to how they... Oh! Now, this is an interesting bounty. Let's go. We have to go take out Kazrak the One-Eye. Which is like, okay, sure. We get also camp construction costs reduced. We get diplomatic relations with with our buddy over here from Nurgle. Oh, we also have eliminate 8 Azazel, and that gets us plus 200 meat. And diplomatic relations with the Brotherhood, huh? Huh. As well as Aldebrand Gauser, right over here. So we can work on our contract, but we can also work on these bounties to get us some more meat and some more things. That's cool. That's good to know. All right, let's work on this. Make the Ogre Bull units better. Also, I just noticed that little panel right there. I'll look at that in just a moment. Sometimes you have to get about 5 or 10 turns in before you can really start to see like all the things about the campaign that you'll be playing, all the mechanics and such. Which, by the way, I'm glad to know that they've added they're still doing the cinematic intros. They're just now doing them in Immortal Empires, which is fine because, you know, like I said, no one's basically playing Realms of Chaos anymore. That campaign is basically done. It's mainly just about Immortal Empires now. Okay, so bounties. All right, so rather than select something, it's just simply showing me, here's are your current bounties that are up. Now, you can decline them and try to get a new one, or you can just go ahead and have them up. They will reset in this many turns. So,
Golgfag.
Let's see what we can do about this over here, which would be 223. So that is a victory. We didn't lose any units there. That's good. And we'll go ahead and get that to the client.
Man-eater.
Like, I am curious, though, about what the settlement buildings are like. So maybe we'll take that one, and we'll actually settle that one. Just to... so we've already absolutely settled the contract here. That's good to know. So if I wanted, I could actually go ahead and... And we now have new available contracts who are like, hey, we want you to go after these guys here. So now I could help Midland right down over here. Or Hawkland against Festergut. So, we're not... Is it Festergut? Gosh, I'm actually forgetting some things, so... Alright. Complete the contract.
The gang are hungry, so best pay us.
Just got 1,000 meat. Contract ends. Your previous job has ended, yet the fate of your ex-client's enemies is still in your hands. Making peace with those who once opposed you in battle could even lead to them becoming your new employers, but you could also just put them out of their misery and finish them off once and for all. Stay at war! Like I said, I want to go ahead and take that and see what happens, so. About the settlement buildings.
Tyrant.
So now we just got over 1,000 meat from turning that in, so now we have a good amount of meat for both our army as well as our camp.
Beat me.
So let's go ahead and upgrade our camp.
World Walker. Biggest around.
The biggest around.
That'll do nicely.
So it looks like, is it... Oh, it's per turn. So we can just have this on up as much as we want. It'll just cost us this amount of meat per turn. Okay, so it's not like it lasts for this many turns. It lasts for as long as you have that amount of meat. That's interesting.
Mercenary Lord. Man-eater.
The only issue is right now I am not replenishing. So that could be a problem. It would be interesting if there's a way, like, when you're, like, on the move, if you can just consume the meat you have to replenish your army. Like, regardless of where you are.
World Walker. Killing time. Let's go.
Alright, so this time let's now go ahead and loot and occupy.
The Man-eater.
So now,
Legendary plunderer.
we'll see on the next turn what our options can be. At least I think so.
Bigger thinking means more killing. I spy loot.
For a moment, I know he said bigger thinking. For a moment I thought he said bigger thinking. I was like, what?
Decisions.
Indeed. Decisions.
No sights, no eats.
Okay, so maybe we won't get to actually do that. What's of all the buildings I could have gotten, it had to be one that had a port. Never mind. So he wants us to take on Midland. This one wants us to take on that tribe. Or, we do this, we can do this one. Although I thought there was one from Midland just a moment ago where they were like, hey, you want to take on Kazrak, maybe, for us? Well, he's right there, but he's got a full army, and I am not ready to take him on. So I think that will be it for our look at Maneater. I'm guessing that the building selections at settlements is not nearly as... Hold on, let me take a look here. The building browser. Okay. So, we can actually get a resource building from these. So, certain buildings may worth be taking just because of the resources that you could get. Like, this one would give you a fur production, resource production, but it would also generate meat for you for all armies in the local province. So, that's good to know. But it looks like it's the similar buildings. The Noblar building, the building for hero capacity... This, the Gorger Cave for Gorgers, Yetis, and Giants. A guard hut. Of course, the rat trap. Yep, the mall pit for growth and casualty replenishment. The counting house for income. Yep, the meat store for upkeep. And the fire cave. So these did change a bit. But, yeah. Okay, so it's kind of it's very similar already still to what we had. By the way, I'm pretty sure that we did get some changes to the other Ogre Lords as well in terms of their mechanics, and of course they also benefit from a lot of these mechanic changes as well. So it's going to make playing as Greasus and Scrag a bit more interesting as well. So anyways, that's a look at the new Legendary Lord for the Ogres, as well as the Ogre changes. When we return, we'll be taking a look at the Greenskins. Stay tuned.